Hello everybody, welcome to the studio to paint Among the Cosmos with me. My name is Mel and I'm super excited you're here. So let's talk a little bit about how we're going to do things today. We are painting on a flat canvas board, and so I want you to have this actually flat on the table as you paint today. Once I get done talking to you, I'm going to move my camera around and I'm going to paint flat and put the camera above it so that you can see everything that I'm doing. But you should take the paper that was in your kit and lay it down to protect your table, and then you can lay your blank canvas flat on the table, and we'll get busy putting our stickers on it to create our planets and painting in our solar system. So that's how we're going to do it. We're going to put some stickers down to create the circles for our planets, and then we're going to paint our big galaxy background. Then we'll come in, add some splatter paint to make our stars. Then we'll paint in our planets, and you can do them however you like. I even made one look like a ladybug. And then, for our final step, we'll put our astronaut in. You can even put a flying saucer in here if you wanted to. It's your painting. Literally, it's your universe. You can do it however you like, my friends. So, get yourself set up. I'm going to show you the paint that we're working with, and then we'll get busy. Here's our palette. We've got our palette paper. We've got white paint, black paint, blue paint, yellow, and red, and we'll be able to make all the colors we need from these. We've got 2 smaller stickers and 2 bigger stickers that we're going to use for our palette, or our planets. And we have a sponge paintbrush, and then we've got a flat bristle paintbrush and a pointy bristle paintbrush. You should have gotten from home an old jar or a cup of water and a paper towel. So you want to get everything spread out on your paper in your painting area. Let me get my camera turned around and we'll get started on our art right now. All set up here. I've got my example on one side for you, my blank canvas on the other, and I've got my paint palette right here that I can pop in for you to see from time to time. So the first thing we want to do is take our stickers, and we're going to place these wherever we want our planets to be. I like to start with the smaller ones, so you're just going to peel one off, figure out where you want it, and then push really hard and rub around those edges so that that paint won't seep underneath. So I've got one here in the top corner, and I'm going to move one on the other side more toward the edge. Push, 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 press, press, press. And over here you can see this green one is overlapping the blue one. So I'm going to take one of my big ones and overlap my planet. And that's going to make this little planet seem like it's further away in the distance, and this bigger one is closer. Finally, I have one more big planet I'm going to put down in the corner. And one more time, get that pushed down. Oh, my camera's shaking. Got to be careful there. Okay. Now, once we have our stickers on, we're going to paint our background. And I want to show you a few things about that. It's very speckly, isn't it? And it's blotchy and irregular, and that's what makes it look like the cosmos, because we're painting among the cosmos. So we want it to be lighter in the center and work our way out. So today I've given you a sponge brush, and you can use the sponge brush on the stick, you can dip it in and then stamp it, but I like to pull the sponge off. You can see if you just carefully pull on it, you can get it off, and then you can either put your finger in the hole in the bottom, or you can hold on to it and use it to pat like this. So what I'm going to do is just take it and dip it in a little bit of my water and squeeze it. I want it to be just barely damp. And I'm going to come over to my white paint and grab a little, and for this part I'm just going to spread it around in the middle. So you can use that brush, just pull it and sweep like you would a brush. I'm coming out around the edge of my planets, not to the edge of my canvas, but around the edge of my planets. And I want to apply this white first so that when I come in with the blue and I start using it like a sponge and stamping, I've got some white paint for the blue to mix and melt into and turn into different shades of blue. So I want a good healthy amount of white. It doesn't need to be too thick, but it shouldn't just be barely there either. And now I'm starting to do that tapping, to just start to build that habit in my hand as I spread paint. That tapping, that lifting is what's going to create all of that, lots of different shades of blue there that we're going for. So now I just want to come over and get the tiniest bit of blue. And starting on the outer edges, I'm just tapping along the outside edge and letting that be where I begin. And when I run out of paint and things start to get really light, I can start tapping my way in toward the middle and working that through. I don't want to cover up all the white, but I want to bring it around and just let everything be lots of different shades. When I pick up more blue, I start at an edge so it can be deep and dark. Pull that up so you can see. Work those deep, dark colors around the outside. And then when we start to run out of paint, sorry about the taps, can't be helped, then I'm going to start working my way in where I want things to be lighter. And I can come back with some more white after I get all my blue dropped off. But we want lots of different little sections with different colors. So I can even grab a little more white. Look at that. Just give it a quick little tappity tap in there. And move that all around. Pick up some more blue and turn this so that it's easier to reach. Get that dark stuff along the edge. And keep working. So I'm going to put this video into time lapse and you guys can keep working on yours and you can watch me paint this really, really fast. I want to show you once you get through, you see I've covered over my stickers. Whoops, I got a little blob there. Well, I'll have to tap that a little bit and blend it out. Sometimes these things happen. I've covered my stickers. That's why they're there. They're going to protect my canvas underneath. And I just come back with more blue and go around those edges, just tapping. Sometimes the sponge, because it's square, you get a little straight edge. Just keep moving that sponge around. Get a little more blue, get those corners and edges darker. And you can even bring in a little more white. But once we get this all done, we're going to splatter some white paint on it so that it looks like stars scattered throughout the sky. Now I'm even going to use my fingertip to come in and just create these little bright white Milky Way sort of sections. Little finger painting, little tapping here. Moving my cosmos and Milky Way through the galaxy. Have some fun with it. It's your universe. You can do whatever you want. Once you feel like you've got a good blend of bright white and blue wherever you want it, we are going to splatter our stars in the sky. So the way that we're going to do that is we're going to take our small brush, dip it in the water, and move some of that water over onto, let me move this out of the way, onto our palette. I've just got a drop of water there. Then I'm going to take a little bit of white and stir that white paint in. I want it to become like milk. I want white water. It shouldn't be any thicker than that. It should be like milk. So if you need to go back and get a little more water, that's okay. But it should be really thin like milk. And I take my time to smooth out any lumps and get it all blended nicely. Because if I have lumps, I may end up with big bumps in my stars. And if it's too thick, I can end up with long strings, and I don't want that. So what I'm going to do is leave my canvas flat. I'm going to hold my paintbrush, and with one finger, I'm going to pull back on the bristles and flick toward my canvas. And we're going to flick all over to spread those stars out. Sometimes you don't get a lot of stars out of a couple of flicks, and others you get a whole bunch. But I like to just go over as many or as few times as you like to put all those stars. Just keep splattering. Now when you feel like you've got enough stars, you can always take your brush and get a little bit of white paint on the end and add in some bigger stars. So just a quick little tappity tap, as few or as many as you like. Let's just dot in some bigger ones. And once we get these in, it's time to take a break. We want to let this dry entirely before we come back to do anything else to it. So if you've got somebody to help you use a blow dryer, you can do that. Otherwise, just let it set in the air, and when you come back, it'll be ready to go. Now that our painting is completely dry, we can peel off our stickers. So just find an edge and peel them off carefully. And we've got some pretty good circles. You may have had a little paint seep under the edge. That's okay. We can cover that up. We just wanted to get those nice, easy shapes. And I'm actually going to turn this that way because I want these planets up on the top. So we're going to paint in our planets, and we can do those in a variety of ways. I made one look like a ladybug. I did another one that was red in the center and swirled out to orange. I've got one that's green and another one that's blue. But you can paint your planets however you'd like. I'm going to show you some different ways that you can do them, and then you can figure out what's up. So I'm going to start with my ladybug first. I'm going to use my big brush and some red paint. Just going to load that up there and fill in my circle here. I am going to be careful going around these edges because the more you mess with the edge of a circle, the funkier things get. So take your time and go easy. I wanted to get the red down first so that I can put another layer on it to make it nice and deep after this one dries up or gets dry. So I'm going to show you some different ways of using light and dark to give your planets that round dimensional shape. There we go. So this one we're just going to leave red. But since I've got red in my brush, I can come down and start this one where it's darker red in the center and then it swirls out. So once you're ready, or you can just watch and then pause the video and decide how you want to do your planets. But I'm going to start off center. Here's the center of my planet. I'm going to start off center. So with my finger on the center, I'm just going to pick another spot between the center and the edge and start painting about a quarter size of red. And then I'm going to take my brush and wipe all that excess paint off right onto my paper towel. Just wipe it all off. And then we're going to grab a little bit of yellow. And I'm going to start on the outside of my planet with that yellow. and work my way around the outer edge in toward the red circle that I made. Now there's still a little bit of red in my brush with the yellow, so I'm getting some streaks, and that's pretty cool stuff. But when I get to that center, I like to just swirl it around and around and then work my way out. And that way we've got this really dark part, but then we have all these streaks. And you can play with this. As long as it's wet, it will continue to blend for you. So I wiped off my brush and picked up a little bit more yellow. Just swooping my way around. Leaving some streaks because that's kind of cool. But now we've got one flat colored planet, and then one, we could even darken this red up if we wanted to, and make it like a crater. So you could do that too. Make it look like a crater, like in the moon, except this one is in our planet. It's your universe. Do it however you like, my friends. So I've got a red one I'm going to let dry. I'm going to let this guy dry. And now I'm going to work over here. But I want to turn my canvas so that I'm working on the side closest to me and I'm not reaching across, spreading my paint. That would be a big mess. So let me show you a couple of other things that we can do, and then you can just take your time filling in all of your planets. I'm going to clean my brush. So to clean my paintbrush, I want to sweep along the bottom of my cup, just sweep back and forth, and then I'm going to drag the edge of my brush along the top of my cup. And that'll get out the excess water. Now I'm going to paint a green planet. And do you know how to make green? I'll show you. I bet you know though. I'm going to grab some yellow, move that over, grab a little bit of blue, and swirl that in. And do you see how there's little bits of yellow and blue and lots of different shades of green? That's what I'm going to use. I'm going to paint my big planet. And fill that in. Sometimes I'll get different colors from my green and my yellow and blue mixing to make the green. But I'm just working my way around carefully with that edge, filling in my planet. Here we go, here we go, here we go. All right. Bring that all the way around because this one is going to overlap the one furthest back, the little guy there. So this is okay. It's pretty cool, but I could make it cooler. I can grab just a tiny bit of blue on my brush and come around one edge and swirl. Do you see how that makes one side of my planet darker than the other? I can do the opposite. I can get the yellow, go around the other side, and give that side a highlight and blend that in. So there's all sorts of things that we can do. You can put dark sides on your planet, you can put rings or polka dots or craters, whatever you like. I'm pretty happy with this guy, and now I'm going to clean my brush and paint my words are really hard. I'm going to paint this guy blue. So I want to be really careful where it is next to the other planet. Take your time. Remember, if you have an oops and things get a little funky, hit it with the blow dryer, let it dry, and then come back and take another whack at it. Okay? All right. So this one is blue, and that's really kind of hard to tell from the background. So I'm going to take just a little bit of white, and just like I went around and made a dark edge on my green with the blue, I'm going to make a light edge on my blue with some white. And I'm just making these little curvy streaks on that outer edge. Going around the edge with a little bit of white and then creating these little curvy streaks. So you can see all those different things. I'm going to come in and put some dots on my ladybug planet. So remember, turn your canvas so the part you're working on is going to be closest to your body so you don't have to stretch. For my ladybug dots, some I'm going to make small. And others I'll make big, like this one's a half circle on the edge because that dot's so big. And then maybe I'll do one more medium size here. So you can put in as few or as many dots as you like. And then for this planet, I like to put a ring around it. So I'm going to start on one side, bring a line out just a little bit. So start on the side, bring it across with a curve, and then meet it over on the other side. And you can draw that in with a pencil and then paint over it. So I start on one side. Oop, there we go. Start on one side, come out, curve across, and then hook it back the other way. All right, what else can we do here before we begin our astronaut who is among the cosmos? I think that's so funny. You know, I think this guy needs a little bit of texture. So I'm going to take a little black and just tap in a little shadow on my blue planet. I felt like it needed something. What do you think? Is that a little better? I think so. I think it needed a little darkness there. Okay, so work on your planets, and once they are completely dry, we can get in here and make some room for our astronaut. So we need to put our astronaut in among the cosmos. So I'm going to show you how to draw this guy. And pick a spot. I've got an open area right here. I am going to use a Sharpie to draw this so that you can see the black lines on camera. I recommend that you do this with a pencil or some other more forgiving method, like a piece of chalk. Because once black lines are on there, they're going to be kind of hard to cover up. So the first thing you want to do is draw an upside down U. That's going to be the body of our astronaut. Or our cosmonaut in this case. So we've got our upside down U, and then the legs are just a little rounded at the bottom. So what we want to do is find the center in between the ends of our U. Find the middle. And we're going to leave a little bit of a gap there. So I draw one line up and then another line up, leaving a little bit of a gap, and then we'll connect them and bring those down. So it's really another little U inside our big U. And then we can curve a line and connect each foot. So we did a big U, then we did a tiny U down in the middle to create the inside of the legs, and then we curved our lines to connect our feet. Now we need a backpack, so right at about the middle between the head and the feet, here on the left edge, I'm going to angle a line down and create that little backpack section. Takes up about the center third of the body height. So we've got that. And then we just need the mask. And again, we're going to use a U. We're going to come down a little bit from the head and make a sideways U that comes out over the edge. And then we'll close it off. So this is our basic shape, and we're going to fill it in with whatever color you want. So it can be blue, it can be green, it can be black, it can be white. We just need to have a color that we can make a darker shade and a lighter shade. I'm going to make some purple for mine. I'm going to clean my big brush out. Get it clean and dry. I'm going to start with some red. And then I'm going to add a little bit of blue. Okay, let's see where our mix is. I had to grab some white. I've got red and blue, and I'm going to take a tiny speck of white and stir those together. Now, purple is one of those colors that you can really play with until you get one you like. I'm pretty happy with that color because if I add a little bit of white to it, I get a good shade lighter. And that's what I need. Oh, there we go. Darker color and a lighter one. All right. So the first thing I'm going to do is paint in the body of my cosmonaut here. Just fill this whole thing in. We're just basically coloring in the lines. We're not doing the mask. We'll do that with gray in a minute. So fill in your body and your backpack and come back when you are ready. Okay, once that's done, I'm going to switch to my smaller brush and I'm going to make some gray. So I'm grabbing some white, moving it over, getting just a tiny bit of black and adding that to it. And I'm going to stir this. I don't want to leave a lot of swirl here. I want to stir it until it becomes one smooth new color. And I'm going to paint in my mask with this gray. We're going to come in and darken up part of it with a shadow in just a minute. But let's just get that. There we go. Right there. For our next step, I'm going to take the purple that I painted my astronaut and add some white to it. So whatever color you used for your astronaut, create a lighter shade by adding some white. And then we're going to add a little highlight to his shape. So about halfway down the body, we're going to just create a curved line that comes up. And I'm going to paint this. It shouldn't be blending, but my purple is still wet. And that's a little bit of a problem. Not too much, but a little bit. Get that in there. Clean it up a little bit. To get this piece back up here. There we go. So you see how that curve just comes down from the top of the head and over. Just like that. And then I'm also going to use a little bit of that light purple just right here on the top of the backpack. A quick little line and then streak down. That's all we need. So finish yours up once it's, we got one more little step to do. Actually, a couple little steps, but they're little and they'll be easy. We want to add a little bit darker gray to the edge of our mask to give it that little curved shape that we're looking for. So when you're ready, grab a little bit more black with your small brush, stir it into your gray so that it gets a little bit darker. And we're going to use this little bit of darker gray to go from the top left edge and curve down. So that bottom left corner of the mask gets that little darker bit of light. And that's that. Other than outlining it. So I'm going to take a moment and hit mine with the blow dryer. When yours is dry and ready to go, I'm going to show you how to outline it and create the air hose. Okay, if your painting is completely dry, you're ready to move on. I'm going to show you how to use a Sharpie to outline your cosmonaut. Now, you don't have to use a marker. You can use your small brush with some of your black paint. But I just think that getting these thin lines works a lot better if we use a tool like a Sharpie. So I've outlined my mask, and then I'm going to come along and outline my body. And then outline the edge of my backpack. And once that's done, I can just swirl in this umbilical air hose that's going to connect him to the spaceship, and we're good to go. So when you are ready, my friend, we're going to use a little bit of black, a little bit of white, swirl them together so that little bit of black, little bit of white, swirl them together, and then find a spot coming out of the backpack here on your astronaut and create a wavy line like S's. And I let it go off the edge of the canvas because I like to believe that my spaceship is out of that point of view. And then if you want to get really fancy, you could even take a little bit of white and just hit those curves. It's like some of the starlight is bouncing off the little curvy parts. I mean, come on, look at that. How cute is it? You guys, how much fun was that? Look at my hands. I am such a mess. Hey, listen, acrylic paint comes off your hands really easy. You just need to scrub a little bit of friction. So a washcloth, you can even take some sugar or some salt with some water and scrub. It'll exfoliate your hands and they'll be nice and soft and you'll get all this paint off. But let's take a final look here at our astronaut in our painting Among the Cosmos. It's so much fun painting with this. I hope you guys had a good time. I can't wait to paint with you again. Please send me photos of your work. I'll put my social media stuff up on the screen so that you'll know where to send it. But I really want to see what you guys come up with. And of course, if you have any more fun ideas for kid paintings, please message me and let me know. I'd love to see what we can do together. So take care, you guys. Send me pictures. And until the next time I see you, happy painting. Be well. Take care. Bye, guys.